Why, hello, my gorgeous, good looking friends. The second half to the Harkles series dropped today. And all I can say is I can't believe Netflix dropped $100 million on these two idiots. You're not missing very much here. It's pretty much the same lies that they have told from the Oprah interview. My personal opinion is that they doubled down on those lies to save face and also save face for Oprah, because I'm sure after this interview was conducted, Oprah probably had it with them because of how duped she was. So perhaps this was their way of showing Oprah, we didn't lie to you. We are still very much committed to our business relationship. And I'm willing to bet that Oprah and Tyler Perry were in the background helping with them to craft this narrative so they could redeem themselves. I truly believe that. Otherwise, why would Tyler Perry be there up front in this documentary, supporting them and being all glowing? This was absolutely a way to repair the damage that interview had caused to both Tyler Perry's reputation and Oprah's reputation. And for those that don't know anything about Harry and Meghan, this was a solid attempt at rehabilitating their image. Because if I didn't know anything about the two of them and the backstory, because there's a lot of stuff that they left out, I would be like, wow, Meghan seems so nice and oh, how cute they are. And gosh, Harry did the best for his family and hopefully that they're happy now. And, the work that they're doing is awesome because this is the narrative that they spun so well with various tactics that I will talk about in a second. Before I start ripping this apart, allow me to rant for just 60 seconds. First off, they got paid $100 million for 6 episodes. Normally, a regular series would have at least 10 episodes. Now, granted, I don't think I could have gone through another 4 episodes of this shit, but when you boil down what kind of content was in the episodes, you realize what the hell have they been doing all this time? Because the majority of what we are seeing is just pretty much using old clips, newspaper articles, and then interviews of a couple people here and there. But pretty much half of this, or even more than half of this stuff, was already available for the editing team to put together. The only other thing that was different was the New York trip. And that's pretty much all that they showed of them being outside of this royal family situation, being in New York and, doing the events. They didn't really get into Archwell. They didn't really show them showing up, at different places on the things that they did during COVID. Take away all the royal drama and all the footage that has already been out there, and as well take away all the footage of the Diana stuff. What did they really have? Sounds like to me, for $17 million per episode, Netflix is the one who got swindled pretty damn hard and has come out with egg on their faces, because this is an embarrassment. Anyhow, I just had to get that off my chest. Let's begin. So episode 4 kicks off, and it's focused on Meghan with doing the voiceover, but showing clips of royal weddings. Of course, we have Diana front and center, and then they move over to Catherine. They show, while these clips are playing, Meghan then starts to go into telling a story about Samantha Cohen that comes across as totally fabricated. And the way that Meghan tells this story, she makes it appear as Samantha's giving backhanded advice.
Our private secretary, she'd worked for the Queen for almost, I think, 20 years.
Many of you recognize Samantha, but let's not forget that in Valentine Lowe's book, Courtiers, it was stated that Samantha was severely berated on the plane to Australia. So, yeah, that wasn't mentioned, but I thought I'd bring it up.
And what she said to me was, it's like this fish is like swimming perfectly powerful. It's on the right current.
Now that was a beautiful wedding.
And then one day this little organism comes in.
Remember, this is Samantha Cohen giving advice to Meghan and calling her pretty much an organism. Does anybody really believe that?
This foreign organism. And the entire thing goes, what is that? What is it doing here? It doesn't look like us. It doesn't move like us. We don't like it. Get it off of us.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Does anybody think that Samantha Cohen is that stupid to call this woman an organism? You know the next word out of Meghan's mouth would be racist. So now Meghan is using this conversation that she's having with herself in her head to spin organism as a positive spin, just like what she did with Diva, right?
They'll soon see that it's stronger, faster, even better with this organism as part of it.
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
But then it'll be amazing.
Objection, Your Honor, leading.
Meghan then starts to relive her wedding day.
Funny as that to say, when we got to the castle for my wedding.
Meghan just loves rubbing things in people's faces.
Dude, this was a 15-minute drive. I think my mom and her both like, what is going on? Look at all these people.
Meghan loved every moment of the spotlight being on her. She loved it so much that she kicked her mother out of the car before she arrived to the church so she could walk in by herself, so all eyes were on her.
Diana's boy. There was an expectation to have a public wedding. It was like mission complete with William.
Can we just take a minute, look at this poster? Prince Harry, you are our prince. Here in spirit. Yeah, I think he thinks that too.
Now, let's see if this goes the distance with Harry, and then we can literally go, job done.
We have all seen this before where Meghan smacks away the hand of this guy, but they made sure, though, that they edited out in this copy.
To see that dress.
So Meghan is making sure that she is reliving this moment for everyone. Just like the P&G commercial, this is probably number 2 of her stories on replay. Now, this next part is really messed up. It's actually beyond cruel, in my opinion.
Harry's dad is very charming.
She is so disrespectful. She can't even call the man by his proper title.
I said to him, like, I've lost my dad in this. So him as my father-in-law was really important to me.
This is seriously next level evil. Thomas Markle should have a funeral for his daughter because she is not coming back. The girl or the little girl that he remembers no longer exists. This is so cruel. And then on top of it, she lies.
So I asked him to walk me down the aisle, and he said yes.
Oh, so now it's Meghan taking the credit? Harry, did you hear that?
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
In the beginning, Prince Harry talks about how he was grateful for his father stepping up to walk Meghan down the aisle.
I asked him to, and I think he knew it was coming. And he immediately said, yes, of course, I'll do whatever Meghan needs. I'm here to support you guys.
What was going through your head when you saw her coming?
Look at me, look what I got. Look what I found.
Harry sure found a winner, man.
When we find each other, when we reconnect to like, oh, it's you, it's not the rest of it doesn't matter, but the rest of it feels temporary.
That's why we have the Markle Claw. So then after the ceremony, they show us photos of the reception at St. George's Hall. And there you see Meghan. I don't understand what is going on with her hair, but seriously, did the hairstylist not show up that day? Then we see Doria singing to Uncle Elton, who was on the piano playing. Then you have the Queen keeping a close eye on Harry's wife so she doesn't run out of the place with the silverware. Catherine looking lovely as ever, and notably missing William. I suspect that Meghan was a little inebriated on that day, considering she started off in the morning with mimosas. So after the segment of showing their wedding reception, we get into James Holt now singing the praises of Meghan Markle and making everybody know that this is what the monarchy needed to push them into the future. Like what?
A modernization that would speak to a new generation of people.
Just remember, this guy works for the Harkles, so he's got to be nice. So then they insert a random clip of Meghan dancing.
Money, 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 money,
In a cottage
We were living on
palace grounds.
Yeah.
Oh, that didn't sound like they were like the gardeners living on the land. Like, come on, man. This was really annoying and also insensitive, considering we're in a time where many people are struggling. So for them to be like, yeah, we were staying on the grounds, but we weren't actually staying in a castle. And yeah, you wouldn't believe it. Like, it almost sounds like they were kicked out onto the street and were sleeping in a cardboard box. I mean, sure, it wasn't like a palace, but geez, there's many people who can't even pay for heat right now.
But Nottingham Cottage, it was so small.
The whole thing's on a slight lean, really low ceiling. So I don't know who was there before. They must have been very short.
Middle-aged 40-year-old millionaires complaining of the free housing that they have. You don't like it, buy your own house. These two are so tone deaf.
Me with a hoe and H varnishing. It was just a chapter in our lives where I don't think anyone could believe what it was actually like behind the scenes.
Shut up, Meghan. Just shut up. In fact, Harry, you shut the f up too.
Well, Oprah came over for tea, didn't she?
Wait, what was that?
Well, Oprah came over for tea, didn't she?
Oh, okay. So then what Tom Bauer wrote in his book is true. They were talking and meeting together before they left the royal family. And it all makes sense now because in the Oprah interview, they mentioned that they had this interview already planned. Got it. To me, that sure sounds like they were planning.
Or everyone to know this decision that was made about patronages and all of that was before anyone knew that we were sitting down with you. I think that I can only imagine that
I heard a story that you're getting punished.
Megsy, you don't know what the palace knows. They probably knew that you were sitting down with Oprah before you even knew that you were sitting down with Oprah. As more than likely, they probably saw Oprah coming in and out of your place for afternoon tea.
Now, those were being taken away because you did sit down with me.
Yeah, but that was, those letters, those conversations, that was finalized before anyone even knew that we were going to sit down. So that's just not true.
She did.
And when she came in, she sat down, she goes, no one would ever believe it.
No one would ever believe it.
Well, isn't that kind of rude of Oprah to come and make a comment about your humble abode that your grandmother gave to you for free? Wow, rich people problems. So this next clip, I want to share with you what I interpret it to be, and I would like to get your feedback on if you feel the same way. Meghan starts telling her story about the time she went on the train with the Queen and how they bonded. But what I notice is Meghan's passive-aggressive way of insulting the Queen. And I think she's so obvious about it.
My first official engagement with Her Majesty was very early on after we got married. We took the royal train together. We had breakfast that morning. I had a really great time with her.
I don't believe that. She's shaking her head no, and she's got her eyes closed while she's talking to the interviewer. Clear indications that she's lying. So Meghan is asked by the producer, what do you talk about when you're with the Queen of England? So Meghan has this forced smile when this producer asks her this question. And then what she says next confirms how much she does not like or respect the late monarch.
I treated her as my husband's grandma.
And how did Harry treat his grandmother? Poorly. How does Meghan treat her family? Poorly. Remember in the beginning, Meghan said this.
My first official engagement with Her Majesty.
Why didn't she say my first official engagement with my husband's grandmother instead of actually using her title? And the reason why is because she's looking at that as a professional level, and to say that she had an engagement with the Queen and associate with the Queen in that powerful position, of course, she sees herself as equal. But when the producer asked about what it's like to talk to the Queen at breakfast, she reduced the Queen back down to how she normally sees the rest of the family, as if she's better than them. And that was what I noticed. She chose to call Prince Charles at the time Harry's father, right? She has yet to come forward and address any of the family by their proper titles. And you know that she does that on purpose because it bites at her to do it.
I recognize and respect and see that you are the Queen. But in this moment, I'm so grateful that there's a grandmother figure.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
And because I was so close with my grandmother and I took care of her in her final years.
It's lie upon lie upon lie.
I feel so proud to live in a city that can have so much diversity. It's 12 countries represented in this one group of women is pretty outstanding.
All this diversity, but she felt the need that she had to flee the UK because they were racist. The last topic that I want to cover in the first part of doing this review is something that I had talked about in my previous videos if you've been following this series. The video that I'm referring to was part 2 of episode 3, where I talked about the media here in the United States and where Meghan and Harry have footprints, and stated that Harry was more PR savvy than Meghan. Well, he actually confirms that assessment that I made right now.
I have 30 years experience of looking behind the curtain and seeing how this system works and how it runs.
All this PR manipulation that we have seen with this couple, I would suspect that Harry also is a part of it. It's not only just Meghan doing it.
I mean, just constant briefings about other members of the family, about favors inviting the press in. It's a dirty game.
That he is most definitely a part of.
You know, there's leaking, but there's also planting of stories.
That he is most definitely a part of.
So if the comms team want to be able to remove a negative story about their principal, they will trade and give you something about someone else's principal.
And we're going to stop right here, but I'll leave you on this point, is that what Harry said just now is really pointing the finger at Jason Kanoff. After watching this whole entire series and the way that the episodes were put together, in the way they manipulated images with Diana slipping in and out and Harry repeating the phrase that he is his mother's son, I honestly get the feeling that Harry is very much like his mother. All he has to offer and all he really knows and understands is how to play this victim. Diana played the victim very well, and she also knew how to use her PR. And what we're witnessing and what I've seen throughout this miniseries reality show was that they really are stuck on playing this victim and linking it back to the royal family however they can and putting blame onto them in order, and I want to say in certain ways, to extort money, to extort these titles. What happened at the funeral was inexcusable, but what is also an option for Harry in continuing to play this victim narrative is now chiming in and jumping on that racism bandwagon. And it's what we're seeing now with Meghan and what's going on, what he's actually doing to his family. And the reason why he's doing it is because he's obsessed with both his father and obsessed with his brother. He doesn't like being this spare, and he's the second son. Like, he's just really bitter and really jealous. They're not going to stop. Tonight, I believe that Harry's going to be on Jimmy Fallon. That's rumored. So we're going to see them again in our faces tomorrow. But, you know, we always point the finger at Meghan for being the one to overshadow or trying to overshadow the royal family whenever they're doing special events. I think Harry is part of the problem. I think he is involved with it as well. And he is on board with doing it to his family because, like he said, they have played this game before. And he knows how to take headlines away. And I think it's very spiteful, in my opinion. But yeah, it's yet to be seen how far they're going to go. That's all I have for you guys today. I will be back soon with another review video, but until then, turn on your notification bell buttons. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!
I was such a fraud.